the first thing I want to talk about are these. I have no idea what brand these are. I did look it up and find them and post a review on it on my Instagram. These are floppy as fuck. Like, you can apply product, but I think of these as the cheap brushes you buy on eBay or Amazon for your like 9 or 8-year-old child or niece or nephew or whatever when they first want to play with makeup, but they're not allowed to wear it out to school or anything. Like, that's what these are for. This fan brush gets used the most, and it doesn't get used for makeup application. I use it to clean palettes, specifically my magnetic palette. I just sort of like brush all the dust away, and it works for that. But the thing is, do I really need a cheap brush that I don't really like otherwise to do that? Why can't I just use like a tissue or paper towel? But then I'm like, oh, maybe it saves the environment by using a brush. And then like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing to keep because it's like more of an eco-friendly way to clean things. But at the same time, if I'm cleaning my palettes, I might as well just do a deep clean with isopropyl alcohol and something like that rather than just dusting it. This has a brush that's loose. Let me fix it. A bristle, I mean. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I can't fix that. There's like a, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's like a hair sticking out of the side. This one's more angled than the other. This one's more like flat. So what I was thinking, the reason I justify keeping these two is because I'm like, oh, what if I want to play with my makeup? Or what if I want to use a different blush color and like say this brush is dirty? Like, what am I going to apply it with? So I was thinking of these as backup brushes that are, I call them shitty brushes. They're not the worst. Like, they're not scratchy. They're pretty soft. They're just not anything special. They don't really, because they're so floppy, they don't have enough structure to serve a significant purpose. But then I was thinking, like, I have this ecotools brush. I think it's for blush and powder. I never use this, so why not keep this as my backup and then get rid of these? And then that brings me to my next problem, which is, who am I decluttering my brushes to? These were decluttered to me by my only other friend who likes makeup. So I just feel like I could throw them out because they're like, they've already been decluttered once. Clearly they're not anything special. I just feel like I want to have them be clean and sanitized and pass them on, but I don't have anyone to pass them on to. And that's sort of my issue with decluttering makeup and brushes. And the reason I project pan a lot is because I don't really have anyone to give my stuff to. Like, for makeup, if my friend happens to be interested in something I don't like, then I can declutter it. But for everything else, it's like, sucks to be you, just use it up. So I would like to declutter these two. And I am going to keep this for cleaning because it has been useful to me. And then I'm just going to keep this one as my backup brush for whatever. I'm just like, I hate seeing these. I don't like the handle. I wish it matched either the purple or the blue from the bristles. So just like when I look at them, I'm like, it makes my entire makeup area look cheap, if that makes sense. This brush I bought because I thought foundation was applied with a flat brush like this. I went to a grocery store near me and I saw this, and I think it was around $10 to $15. And I bought it. I was like, oh yay, now I have a foundation brush, because prior to my foundation journey really started with, my first ever makeup item was a Bare Minerals powder foundation, and my aunt gave me a brush to go with that, and it was shedding a lot, so I got rid of it. Then I bought this foundation from either Revlon or Rimmel or whatever that had a brush attached to it, so you just sort of twist it and the product comes up into the brush. But then I started getting into liquid foundation after I switched back to Bare Minerals, and then I was like, I want to try drugstore. So I started buying liquid foundation. I was like, what do I apply it with? So I didn't know any better, and I bought one of these, and it turns out this serves one purpose and one purpose only: streaky foundation. That's what it does best. Recently, actually, though, I found that this works to apply Nair to my legs without getting all over my hands. So I like that. And you can see this is recent. Like, this was just as clean as this one. The Nair chemicals, like, ruined it. But it serves a purpose. So I think I'm going to keep it. If I decide that I'm not interested in continuing using Nair or similar hair removal products like that, I will try to declutter this as well. These are sort of like the 3 brushes where I want to declutter them, but like they all serve a purpose, and I can't deny that they serve a purpose. This brush, similarly, this is the ecotools brush, Kabuki, whatever. It's like a dual fiber. The problem with this is that I got this years ago for bronzer because I'd never had bronzer before, and I was in the phase of doing makeup where I was getting into the drugstore liquid foundations, and I couldn't find one in my undertone and my color that was dark enough but also light enough. Like, everything was either too light, too dark, or too pink. So I was like, what if I buy a light foundation that matches my undertone and bronze, and put bronzer all over my face to color correct? And I needed a brush for that. And this brush, which came in a set, was already, like, it was too pigmented to do that with. So I went out and I got this, and it works really great for that. The problem is, it's old and I've washed it so much that, like, bristles come out all the time. It's not going to do it on camera. For some reason, that happened to me in my makeup empties too, where I threw out a brush. Like, they shed really crazy until the camera turns on for some reason. So, whatever. This used to serve a purpose for really pigmented bronzers. The last pigmented bronzer I had was the Too Faced, what is it? Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I don't plan on repurchasing that. I now have the butter bronzer, which works really well with this brush because it's very light, so I don't have to worry about it being too much. Another problem with this is that if you wash it, it takes 2 days to dry rather than 1 overnight dry. My other Kabuki brush is the same way, but this one, it'll seem like it's dry. Like, it'll look like this and feel like this and everything. But if you put it in, say, a blush or a bronzer and you go to apply it to your face, you get streaks because it's like applying it wet, but with all the separated bristles. So you can see every little line, and then even if you take another brush to try and blend that out, it's not going to work because you just applied a wet powder to your face, basically. It's like if you sprayed an eyeshadow on a flat brush like this, and then you tried to blend it out smoothly, like, it's not happening. So this is good if it's completely dry and if you don't mind picking hairs off your face. And it's good for one thing and one thing only, which is really pigmented stuff. You can use it for other stuff, which is why I still keep it, because, like, I could technically use this as a backup for bronzer or blush, just like this is a backup. But I don't know if I should. I don't know if I'm ready to get rid of this, because what's going to happen is I feel like as soon as I get rid of it, I'm going to have something given to me as a gift or whatever that's really pigmented, and I'm going to be like, wow, I really wish I had a Kabuki brush that could blend that well. It's the only brush I have that's like this, the dual fiber. I think I'm saying that right. So I kind of want to keep it. That's like, this is like a group of pain in the ass brushes now that just sit on my vanity. But I think if these aren't used by the next time I do a declutter like this, I'm going to get rid of them. And I'm going to do whatever I can to donate them to people who actually want them and will use them. Let's do more ecotools. Let's see. Okay, so the brush I was talking about before from ecotools, this one that I apply to set my primer, I use it with this one. Like, I either use this one or this one. And for the past 6 months, I've been using this one, the angled one. And then I just decided to use this one again. So for the longest time, this one was sitting in this jar, but I switched them out. So these I just use both of all the time. It just depends on how I feel. So I'm keeping that. They're both really good. This is a blending brush from ecotools that came in a set also. This was my first blending brush, and it's like, it's a little sentimental, but at the same time I'm like, really, it's a sentimental brush just because I used it a long time ago. I just don't use it anymore because I use my other ones, and this is really stiff. It actually best matches the shape of this one, but this is softer and blends better. So this one's actually cheaper because you have to buy this one in a set. But the thing is, I don't have anyone to declutter this to. But because I don't know, I feel this sort of need to keep it. I don't know if it's sentimental or if it's just because I know it's a good brush. It's just not a necessity anymore. Also, the Wet n Wild brushes are new to me, so for all I know, they could fall apart. And I don't know, I feel like I need to keep it, but I know I don't. If I can declutter this to someone, I will. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't want to be decluttered, apparently. I use this for my inner corner highlight all the time. Recently, I've decided to start using my Hourglass domed brush for that. But I still use this one, and I'm probably going to switch back to it. There are just some brushes where I like to go back and forth with what I'm using them for, and I don't think it's a necessity for me to have only one cup of brushes that I use every day. I don't mind having extra. This brush is Beat to Hell. This came in the set. It was a really nice outer corner eyeshadow brush, and I used it as a lip brush many times, so now, like, you can't get it fully clean. Like, I can feel the lipstick in it, and this has been washed so many times. The hairs are starting to fray, and it's just really nasty, but I don't have another lip brush, so I'm going to continue to beat the shit out of this every time I need a lip brush, and if it falls apart, it falls apart. These are similar. This is another one of, like, the Naked 2 version of the Urban Decay, brushes from the palettes. This was from my Naked 3 palette before I decluttered it. I'm going to keep it because I do use those. This one is from the Urban Decay Vice 3 palette, which I finished. This end I actually used as a lip brush, and I didn't really like it for that. And this end, it's more like this end of the brush, but tiny. It sort of serves a purpose. Like, it's a good backup brush, or like a travel size brush, but I don't really, I don't know, I just don't have a separate set of brushes that I travel with. I just bring what I use. So this doesn't really serve a purpose, but because it came with the Vice 3, for some reason I feel like I need it. I don't know, something about when a brush comes in a palette, I just feel like collecting it, and I don't know why. I think it's because you spend all this money on a palette, and once it's gone, like once you use it up. But the brush you can keep forever, so I feel like when I spent $60 on the palette, now that the eyeshadows are gone, this is what was worth $60. Like, this is what remains, and that's not at all the case, but in my mind, that's the only way I can really describe how I feel. It's like, this is what I get out of spending that money, and I don't want to get rid of it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it and then use this side as no, that's too big for a lip brush. Actually, I don't know. I might keep this as a backup lip brush, and if I don't use it, I'll declutter it. Something's just telling me not to declutter it, and I can't tell what it is. I think it's just being a hoarder. I don't know. I can get these out. This is a little brush that comes with the e.l.f. cream eyeliners. They're good. I really like them. They're really thin. The problem is you use them like a handful of times and all the bristles fall out, which I don't mind because it's a $3 liner. So I'm basically getting a free brush. I just wish they wouldn't fall apart. This came with the Pulp Fiction palette from Urban Decay, and I actually really like this. Specifically this side, but I do like this side as well. And I do use this, on occasion I'll use this for the inner corner, and this for the outer corner, or this for the all over the lid. It's sort of like what I use when all my brushes are dirty. I forgot, sometimes if I have a special event and I'm worried my eyeshadow might get messed up while I'm there, I will bring single shadows in this in my bag, and it's really handy. So is this. So occasionally I will have situations where I want mini brushes, and I don't mean like this length. This is kind of big. I mean like super small, because they'll fit in my little makeup bag. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I feel like I want this, because what if I need to go to an event and I want to bring a mini crease brush with me? Like, this would be a good set to bring. I don't know. This is really hard. I didn't think it would be this hard. I kind of feel like I should get rid of this too. I don't know. I think I want to put these two on probation. I know that's like, if I were watching a declutter video, I would want me to get rid of all of these ones. Actually, probably all of these. Like, I would be like, declutter all of those, but I kind of want to put these 3 on probation and see what happens. How about this? I'm going to find a lip brush that works for me, and when I do, this will go in the trash, and this I will try to declutter to someone. I'm gonna make that promise. And then this one, yeah, I'm not gonna pull it back out of my declutter pile. I'm gonna put the ones that are ugly out somewhere else, and I'm gonna put the ones I like the look of, like these ones. I don't know, I just feel like they don't belong. And this cup looks so nice now. Like, not because the brushes are pretty, but because they're all ones that are good and that I would use. This one, I think, needs to go away from my makeup brushes because that's not what I use it for. And this one is more like a cleaning tool. So these two, these are on probation, so I'm going to keep those out. This is really difficult, and like, I know what I would want to see from a declutter video. So, like, I don't know. Decluttering 3 is not good. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if I should get something. What am I saying? I'm trying to think if there's something else I could get rid of. Maybe I could throw this out and keep this one. I don't know. Maybe I could declutter this one. This one I will occasionally use if all of the ends of the other ones are dirty. Like, I'll use this to clean up glitter from the crease, and it works good for that because it does come to a point. So, like, I have used it. It does serve a purpose. I don't have anything this pointy in a crease brush type form. I realize I'm making excuses, but I'm genuinely wondering if I need a brush that's pointed like this, sort of. Like, it's kind of, it's not really that pointed, but when you feel it, you can feel that it comes to a point right here where it's the longest. And I'm trying to think if I should just buy a brush that has something like that and then declutter this. I really don't want to see these ones anymore. I think I'm going to get rid of this too. And then just like clean things the normal way. This is really good though for like my hourglass powders when the mirror's dirty. But like, if I can find someone who would use these makeup brushes, then why not give it to them? Yeah, I'm getting rid of that. Oh my god, this is so much. This one is just like, I know it's a shitty brush. And I only recently found something it can be used for. But at the same time, I could just use my hands and get over it. The Nair actually worked better when I used this because I applied it thicker. So I think I'm going to continue to use this with the Nair. And then when I'm done with it, I don't think it would be a good idea for me to use this with chemicals like that and then to wash it and try and give it away. Like, that's sort of like, I just feel like that's a bad idea, especially if I end up decluttering it to someone who has a younger child using these. Like, I don't want to give them something where there's like Nair chemicals stuck in the bristles since it's so dense. I feel like that would be really wrong. So I feel like these two are like, use them until you don't need them anymore and then throw them out. And then this one, I know people are going to tell me to declutter this. And I feel like I should, but I also kind of want to collect it. I don't know. How would I feel if this was still in here? Like, if I'm just looking at my collection with that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like, I'm really happy that these three are gone. I'm sort of still, I'm gonna get rid of this if somebody wants it. But I still kind of want it myself. But I'm not taking it back. I'm just like, it kind of hurts my soul. I really don't know about this brush because I know it's served me well for what I use it for. I know that I would probably reach for this in the future, maybe. Would I? I don't know. Because like, if I need to clean up glitter from the crease, I could use this. Or I could lightly go in with like one of these. Like, it's not like, or I could go in with like this brush. Like, I really don't need it. And the only reason I want to keep this is because it came with the Vice 3. I'm wondering, this is kind of like a bad declutter, but like, what if I put this in my Vice 3? Because I'm holding on to my Pant palettes. They're like a trophy to me. What if I just put it in there and then it's like a part of it, like a set? Like, I don't know. I'm going to think about this one more. I'm going to sit on it. But I recognize that I should declutter it. Like, it's not like I'm making up these excuses and I'm thinking, oh, that's a really good excuse. I'm just sort of explaining my thought process behind knowing I should get rid of it, but having the feeling that I want to keep it, which is the same as how I feel about this one. But that one, like, I like the idea of giving the brushes to someone who would use them. For some reason, I don't want to give this to someone to use. Like, even if they loved it, I'm like, no, I want it. I don't know why. I'm feeling more crazy the more I talk about it. I'm just looking through my brushes again to see if there's anything else that I could get rid of. Because if I'm going to get rid of brushes, I would like to give them away as a set. I'm sort of rethinking this one a little bit too. Here's the thing. I've done it before where I set aside the brushes I'm not sure about in a cup on the side, and I'm like, if these don't get used, they're going. And that's worked. Like, I got rid of those makeup sponges that come with the butter bronzer and stuff. Like, I think my friend ended up throwing them away, but I really don't give a fuck. I just didn't want them anymore. But, I don't know. Like, this one I haven't used in so long, I don't even know if I would like it. I think, here's what I want to do. I'm going to make a probation pile. Everything else I use. Like, yeah. Like, I go back and forth between... These are the brushes that go back and forth with other ones that are in my used cups. They're interchangeable to me, and I do trade them out all the time. Like, those ones were only recently put back in this cup. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having 2 brushes that do the same thing that I go back and forth between based on the slightly different shape. But it's like these, it's like I'm holding on to them because of memories I have and because of where I got them. Like this because I got it from the Vice 3, this because it came in that kit I bought, and this one because it serves a purpose. But that purpose, the thing is, I will not purchase anything that's super highly pigmented to the point where I would need this brush, but that doesn't rule out the fact that people will give me gifts, and if I like it enough that if it works with this brush and I like it, I'm not going to get rid of the item. I would rather just use it with my shitty old brush, and it's not going to cost me anything to hold on to it. But I am going to put them on probation just to see like what happens. And these will go in the garbage when I no longer need them. This one definitely will. This one I feel like, I don't know if deep cleaning it would make it safe to give away. Once you use it on something chemically that isn't makeup, I feel like that would be wrong, and I'm not going to do that. But I don't know, I still, even though it's a shitty brush, like the bristles aren't in bad condition or anything, it's just in terms of application, it doesn't serve a purpose. I would rather give someone some other brush than give them this because it's just not good. Oh, this is so difficult. Okay. Okay. I'm decluttering 4. This one you can't really see. This is the 4th one. I am putting 3 on probation. I'm putting these 2 in my use it until I lose it thing when I'm going to a special event, which it's one of those things where it's something that happens that I need them for, but it's not a frequent event. And I was watching a declutter video where this woman was like, I have 1 black dress and I only use it when I go to a funeral. And it serves a purpose, but I only use it like once a year. Should I declutter it? And it was sort of like a rhetorical question. She was like lecturing on decluttering or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm going to keep it. Why? Because it does serve a purpose. The purpose might not be frequent, but I use it. And I feel like that's what those 2 brushes are. I don't use them all the time, but they do serve me a purpose. Whereas these ones could serve a purpose. But do I use them even once a year? I don't think so. I am going to do my makeup with these this week. If I like them enough to put them in my little brush rotation, I'll keep them. If I don't, I'm going to clean them and probably keep this one as a backup because I'm crazy. But I should declutter them. This one, I don't want to declutter because it's shedding, so I think it would go in the trash. Unless I have someone who really wants them. This is my declutter video. By the way, this stuff, I'm going to clean it before I give it away because I was just rubbing my fingers all over them. Like, I realized they're not clean anymore once my hands are all over them. So, I'm going to clean them, let them dry, put them in a little Ziploc bag, and I'm going to talk to my mom and see if she can donate them either to one of the shelters near us or something like that. Somewhere where people would use them. And you know what? I might if I don't like these enough to keep, where I'm at the point, like if I knew someone who really wanted them, I would give them to them, I might put those in the bag. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if telling me in the comments to throw a certain brush away or declutter a certain brush is going to help, but if you want to tell me what I should get rid of, feel free. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I just wanted to show my son really quick because he's really beautiful. Look at him. Okay, bye. He will like sit here and like stare at me in the face. I'll get really close to the tank and he doesn't care. For some reason, he does not like the camera. Like if I have my phone or my other camera out, the one that doesn't film videos, which is irritating, he will swim away from me and I don't know why. He's just like, he somehow knows that it's a camera and he doesn't like it.